June. I think it was late June where this happened. I was having seizures left, right, center. It was one of the worst months in the 2 years that this has been happening. It got so bad where I was having 3 seizures a day. What a seizure is, basically your brain sends signals to the rest of your body. I'm sure a lot of people know what a seizure is. I feel like I don't really have to explain it that much. I was having seizures all over the place. And one day I had 3 in one day and I was just completely out of it, completely like heavily medicated. My body was super weak from all the seizures that I was having. My brain was super weak, if that makes sense. I was just a mess, and my mom made the call to take me back to the hospital. I don't really remember the drive there, getting there, or anything. I blacked out when I got there. I actually ended up having to stay for, I think, 3 or 4 days in the hospital. They had me so heavily medicated on so many different medications. It got so bad where the entire time that I was there, my chin had to be like this with my shoulder. If I moved like slightly, it was the worst head rush, and I'm assuming it was because of all the medication that they had me on and all the seizures that I was having. My brain was just, it wasn't having it. It actually got so bad to the point where the doctor ordered an ECG. The woman was just about to put all of the little probes into my head so that they could record my brain activity. She wanted me to lay like straight like this. Like I couldn't move much. Like if I moved a little bit, like my brain, it just was the worst feeling. I couldn't stay in that spot. So I was crying. I was just in so much discomfort. The head rushes were insane that I was like, I can't do this. So she took all the probes that she had already put in my head off, got an assistant at the hospital come get me and bring me back up to my room. I was throwing up. Like I said, I was having crazy head rushes. I wasn't able to walk. After this, I eventually got out of the hospital. I was starting to feel a little bit better, whatever. They switched me on to a better medication. This is where things kind of get a little bit sad. I don't want to be that person that cries on camera. If it does happen, it's for good reason. Great-grandmother passed away on June 26th of 2017. I didn't really get to see her the last couple of months that she was alive because of my seizures. I didn't want her to know, so I tried to stay away. She lived to almost 101, so she had a great run, an amazing run. I just miss her. I miss her a lot. Within that week of her passing away, we had her funeral, and on the day of her funeral, my mom got a call from my neurologist saying that I needed to come in for an emergency appointment. Okay, let's get back a little bit. My neurologist sent me in to get an MRI to see if there was anything in my brain that was kind of causing these seizures. Let's hop back to the emergency call. I needed to be in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. The second my mom told me that I had an emergency appointment with my doctor, I knew something was wrong. I got there at 8 o'clock, the day of my grandmother's funeral, and I sat in my neurologist's office, and the second I made eye contact with her, I knew that there was something wrong. She told me that she got the MRI results back, and that I had a brain tumor in my pituitary gland. And pituitary is like your hormonal gland. She told me that I had a tumor there. She said that it was most likely not affecting my seizures. It was concerning because there's a tumor in your brain. She said that if it was to get any bigger, then that's when we would have to be a little bit concerned. But just picture losing your grandmother, having to go to her funeral, but before you go to her funeral, you're told that you have a brain tumor. Anyways, it wasn't easy. Trying not to cry. Not a lot of people knew that I had one. I only told a select few people because I didn't want to be that girl, sick girl, the girl that has the brain tumor, the girl that has the seizures. I was just tired of it. I was done with it. I wanted to be 18 again, looking forward to going to university. In that moment, I just wanted to be 18 again. Couldn't. I was 20 and my grandma was gone and I had a brain tumor. And I was having seizures and nobody knew why I was having seizures. So I actually ended up having to stop filming after I was talking about the brain tumor in my grandma a couple days ago. So after the brain tumor and my grandma passing away, the months of July and August were pretty much a blur. I don't really remember much of it. I kept switching medications because I kept having different reactions to them. I was really depressed about the tumor, and I was really upset about my grandmother, and it was just a really rough time. The only thing that was really getting me through the summer was knowing that I got to go to Trent University in the fall. I got accepted for a dual law and sociology program at Trent University. So like the first 2 years are at Trent for sociology. The next 3 years are at Swansea University in Wales, England, and then the last year is back at Trent for Canadian government and law. So I was really excited about that. So pretty much the entire month of September was really great. I met a lot of new friends. My roommates were great. I loved all my classes. I loved my program. Everything was just going amazingly, which was really awesome after the past couple months that I had experienced. So come October, I guess that's when the panic attacks started to happen a little bit more frequently again. I had to drop a class because I kept having seizures during labs or during classes. It just ironically just always happened when that class was going on. So I unfortunately had to drop it, and I was really upset about that because it was a forensic science class and I actually really enjoyed it. I eventually got over it. I could always take it again if I really wanted to. After October, after midterms were done, after reading break, everything kind of went back to normal again. So November to December was very easy. I was always with my roommates. I was having a ton of fun. I was doing really well in school. Everything was just great, and it was awesome. I was just finally kind of back to normal. I ended up going to Florida with my family over Christmas. We got to go to Disneyland, something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. And I also got to go to Harry Potter World, which was awesome. If you've never been and you're in love with Harry Potter, I 1,000 times recommend. It was just one of the best days of my life. So I wasn't having any seizures for, I want to say, a month and a half. I came back from Florida, I went back to school. The day I went back to school was my 21st birthday, so I got to celebrate that with my roommates. So that was really nice. And then classes started again. I was doing super well. I loved every single one of my classes. This is where it kind of gets pretty f***ed up again. The night of January 19th, I was writing an essay. I got a text from my boyfriend saying, "I think my house is on fire." Now, I didn't really understand why he would text me something like that. I thought he was joking. I guess the headspace that I was in, deep down I knew that it was real, but I was trying to convince myself that it wasn't. It started to become more real after the fact that he had texted me that he thought that his house was on fire, and then I hadn't heard from him for 45 minutes. I couldn't get a hold of him. I was calling him, texting him, he wasn't answering. Finally got a hold of him 45 minutes later. He's frantic. I can tell by the second I hear his voice that there is something wrong. I was all the way in Peterborough. I can't drive because of my seizures. I got my license taken away, so I didn't have a car. So I was stuck in Peterborough. The thing that really hurts the most, I guess, about this entire thing was that I was supposed to be home, but I decided to stay. So I could have been home and I could have helped him, but I wasn't there. What ended up happening was I called my mom. My mom and my dad and my sister and brother went over. When my mom was there, she said that it was just pretty much a smoke show. Everything was okay. Lucas was okay. It was when my mom and dad kind of left, that's when things started to get worse. The house just went up in flames. Lucas sent me some videos of the house in flames, and I couldn't believe it, because one minute I was writing an anthropology brief. The next minute, the house that my boyfriend has been living in for 21 years is on fire. It's in flames and it's going down. Had it have happened maybe 2 hours later, Luke might have been asleep and he might not have gotten out, and that's one of the hardest parts of this all. I am beyond thankful that it had happened when it had happened. I wish it never had happened, but I'm just glad that it happened when it did, or he might not have gotten out. I would have lost him, and I would have lost all of my animals. Thankfully, but unfortunately, everybody was safe. Everybody was safe but my cat. Leo. He was in the basement. That is where the fire started. He died of smoke inhalation. When the firefighters found him in the morning, he was still completely intact. So there's kind of a peace of mind there, knowing that he didn't suffer. When I got there that morning, Haley ended up taking me back, and I didn't know that Leo was gone. They didn't want to tell me until I got there. I know a lot of people are just gonna think that it's a cat. When all of the fainting and the panic attacks started, and the seizures, that cat was with me every single time. He just knew, and he was always beside me, making sure that I was okay. So losing him was really hard. Anyways, other than that, I'm just thankful that Lucas got out and that he got our puppies out and our other kitty out. But after that, it was just some of the darkest months I have ever experienced. In February, I had to leave school because I couldn't do it. I wanted to be there, but I couldn't. That's okay, because I get to go back. At the end of February to the end of March, I ended up having 40 plus seizures in 1 month. They were uncontrollable. They got so bad to the point where I couldn't walk and I couldn't talk at all. My stutter was so bad. It still comes out sometimes. It hurt to talk and it hurt to think, and it just scared the absolute living out of me. I thought that I was never going to be able to talk again. My neurologist made me get back on my medication because there is such a thing called sudden death by epilepsy, and the rate that I was having seizures, she was concerned that that was what I was going to experience. During that, on top of everything else, just really was like the cherry on top. My parents were watching me 24/7. My little brother was watching me 24/7. My sister, she's only 6. Well, she was only 6 at the time. She's 7 now. She was always watching me, and the fact that my younger siblings had to watch me at such a young age is really hard, because I'm supposed to protect them and they were protecting me. Oh, within all of this too, I found out that I didn't have a brain tumor, which was kind of the light of it all. I ended up going in for another MRI. Apparently the radiologist before had read the MRI wrong, or there was something on the scan. So I guess the good thing that came out of it was I haven't had a seizure in about 2.5 months now. I just currently got a job. Like, I had to stop the video, go to a job interview, and I got the job, and now I'm back here just kind of finishing off the video. Pretty much concludes part 2. Thanks for watching. It's been really nice kind of getting everything off my chest.